Siri has been a running joke for years. Set a timer? Fine. Play a song? Usually fine. Ask it something slightly complicated, search my emails for the hotel confirmation from last month, or summarize what my friend said about the restaurant, and the joke became the answer. Apple knows this. At WWDC today, they addressed it directly, not with an update to Siri, with a replacement. Siri AI was announced today, and it is built from the ground up, not an improvement on the old architecture. A complete rebuild, with a new model, a new interface, new capabilities, and a privacy architecture that Apple is specifically asking external experts to verify. This video goes through every major capability announced today, what is available now versus later this year, and the honest question of whether this is actually the Siri Apple promised in 2011, or another incremental disappointment dressed up in new branding. The single most important change in Siri AI is personal context understanding. This is what the old Siri fundamentally could not do, and what every AI assistant you have used in the last 3 years has been doing well. Personal context means Siri can now search across your messages, emails, photos, notes, and calendar, and answer questions using what it finds. Ask Siri to find the restaurant recommendation a friend messaged you last week. It searches your messages and surfaces it. Ask it to find your hotel confirmation number from an old email. It searches your mail and reads it back. Ask it to show photos from your trip to New York with your sister. It searches your photos library using the people and places it has learned. Crucially, personal context also extends to third-party apps when developers integrate with Spotlight, so if you use a task manager, a notes app, or a messaging platform other than iMessage, Siri can search there too, once those developers update their apps. This is the capability that makes Siri genuinely useful for the first time. Not because Apple did not have the data, your iPhone has had this information for years. Because the old Siri could not reason across it, the new Siri AI can. 2 more capabilities that work alongside personal context. World knowledge gives Siri the ability to answer questions about anything on the web, not just what is on your device. Ask when a musician is coming to your city on tour. Ask what the nutritional content of the meal in front of you is. Ask when the next solar eclipse is visible from your location. Siri goes out to the web, finds the answer, and generates a helpful response, similar to what you would get from ChatGPT or Gemini for those kinds of questions. On-screen awareness means Siri can now read and understand whatever is on your display at the moment you invoke it. If you are reading a text about a potluck, you can ask Siri what you should bring, and it reads the message context to understand the question. If you are looking at a photo, you can ask Siri about it. If you are reading a web article, you can ask Siri to summarize what it is about without copying and pasting anything. The Dynamic Island integration is the interface for all of this on iPhone 17 Pro. You swipe down from the Dynamic Island to start a conversation with Siri. The response appears right there, rich, scrollable, and continuable. You can ask follow-up questions without invoking Siri again. The conversation keeps going until you are done. 3 more new capabilities announced today, each worth knowing about specifically. Visual intelligence, which was previously iPhone only, now comes to iPad and Mac. On iPad, it is built into the screenshot experience. On Mac, you can invoke it with a keyboard shortcut, select something on your screen, and type a question to Siri about it. On Apple Vision Pro, visual intelligence works by gaze. You look at something and ask Siri about it, which is the most natural version of this feature Apple has shipped. And on iPhone, there is now a dedicated Siri mode in the camera app. Tap the shutter button to let Siri see what you are looking at and get useful information back, including splitting a restaurant bill with Apple Cash or getting nutritional information about food. Writing tools now work with Siri everywhere you type. You can describe what you want to write and Siri generates a draft from scratch. You can describe a change and Siri makes the edit. In mail and messages, Siri learns how you normally communicate with specific people. If you always send your manager short bullet points, Siri will write in that style for that recipient. The dedicated Siri app is a new addition that lets you revisit your entire conversation history across all your devices. Conversations sync via iCloud, so you can start something on your Mac and continue it on your iPhone without losing context. This is the first time Siri has had persistent memory across a session and across devices. Apple's privacy architecture for Siri AI is the part of today's announcement that matters most for people who care about what happens to their personal data, and it deserves more attention than it will get in most coverage. Siri AI runs primarily on-device. The personal context understanding, your messages, emails, photos, calendar, is processed locally using Apple's on-device models. It does not leave your device by default. When Siri needs to use Apple's server-side models for more powerful tasks, world knowledge questions, complex reasoning, it uses private cloud compute. Apple's privacy promise for private cloud compute is specific. Your personal data is not stored on Apple's servers, is not accessible to Apple employees, and is not used to train models. And Apple is inviting external security researchers to verify this claim at any time. That is an unusually strong public commitment. Apple's framing is that Siri remains the world's most private digital assistant. Whether that claim holds up to scrutiny as the feature matures, particularly as more app integrations are added, is worth watching. But the architecture as described is meaningfully more privacy protective than most competing AI assistants. The honest question, given Apple's track record with Siri, is this actually the product they are describing, or is it another round of impressive demos followed by a frustrating real-world experience? The case for optimism. This is the first time Apple has described Siri as a ground-up rebuild with a new architecture, not an upgrade. The personal context feature addresses the specific failure mode that made Siri a running joke. The dynamic island integration gives it a natural interface that previous Siri versions never had. And the privacy architecture, if it holds, resolves the tension between AI capability and data protection that competing assistants have not. The honest caveats: Siri AI is available today as a developer beta only. Public users get it later this year, no specific date given. The most powerful features require iPhone 17 Pro for the dynamic island experience and the on-device advanced model. There will be a hardware gap. Third-party app integration depends on developers updating their apps. And Apple has made big promises about Siri before the original Siri, in 2011, was described in almost identical terms. The difference this time is the competitive pressure. ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini are all meaningfully better than the old Siri at exactly the tasks Siri AI is now promising. Apple cannot afford another half-decade of incremental updates. Whether that urgency translates into a product that matches the announcement, that is what the public beta will tell us. Siri AI is available for developer testing starting today. Public beta is coming later this year, no date confirmed. The full Apple Newsroom announcement with technical details is linked in the description below. If you want to understand how Siri AI compares to ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini for the tasks it is promising, that comparison video is in the description below. Subscribe for weekly coverage of what's actually changing in AI and tech. Thanks for watching.